Tom, are you good? Okay. With that, we will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Bose.
Here.
Ms. Evans.
Here.
Ms. Farmer. Mrs. Grover.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Dr. King.
Here.
Ms. Santos.
Here.
Ms. Scott. Mr. Van Hise.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And with that, we will entertain a motion to go into executive session specifically for the purposes of HIB and also matters of confidential nature subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding personnel and staff discipline matters. We anticipate that this will run approximately 20 to 25 minutes. No official action will be taken. If somebody would like to move that.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned to executive session. Tom, we're good?
Note.
Okay, with
Note
that,
to self.
we will reconvene. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We just concluded our executive session portion of the meeting, and welcome everyone to our board meeting this evening. Start out with our Open Public Meetings Act statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. And as required under law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided via email and/or fax to the Times, the Ledger, the Public Library, and has been filed with the municipal clerk. This notice was provided prior to the 48 hours required by the Open Public Meetings Act, and the board reserves the right to limit public discussion or personnel items and other matters as defined in the law. With that, we will turn to flags. We acknowledge the flag salute. We'll also just say happy birthday, U.S. Navy. So that was going around today. So with that, we will turn to our student representative reports. Welcome.
Oh, there you
Hi.
are.
My name is Chloe. I'm a senior.
My name is Sean. I'm also a senior.
So we will be updating you on this year. So today, the juniors and sophomores took the PSATs. It went really well. So now they're back in classes and everyone's been enjoying everyone being fully in classes. And so the seniors were working on their college applications, going through different rooms. I know a lot of people who started their college essays, got their college essays edited by the English teachers, and then the freshmen played spirit games today to get into the school spirit.
Also, something that is happening is we are having our fall show, Romeo and Juliet. It's November 18th, 19th, and 20th. There's going to be 4 shows. There's going to be 2 shows on the Saturday, the 20th. A morning show and a night show. And 4 meetings. Okay. Student Helping Honduras had an interest meeting that went really well, I heard. The STEM Academy also had a virtual career workshop, and Arts and Humanities Academy had their interest meeting last week. Also, peer leaders met with the underclassmen in their resource periods, and from what I heard, it went really good. I think all the freshmen and sophomores are feeling really welcome into the school.
Yeah, so, we did that. We went into their resource periods, and it went really well because we typically only do freshman seminar, but this year we're working with also the sophomores and juniors to make sure they're also included because they didn't have a long time of being in person. And so we met with them, and everyone was really friendly. I feel like it was a good,
Yeah.
It was good. They were, not very awkward, which is nice. And then, like Sean said about Romeo and Juliet, so as you can see, the set's being built. It's actually almost done, so that's really cool. And we're doing 4 shows this year because we're trying to limit the capacity. So we don't want it to be too crowded, so it's going to be limited to 40% capacity. And hopefully now that we're doing 4 shows, the audience will be more spread out, which is nice. And now moving on to sports. So we actually won the last football game. We were against Pemberton, so that was last Friday. Swim just had their interest meeting because swim starts in the winter, so people are starting to get involved in their winter sports. And tennis's senior night was tonight, actually. And field hockey's been having a great year, and they're having a game right now, a home game against North, like currently in the field right now. And I think that's it for sports.
Yeah, also I really want to say that a lot of people really like the breakfast. A lot of people have been going to the breakfast in the morning. I know people have been really taking advantage of that. I know I don't eat breakfast in the morning because I usually don't have time because I wake up really late. So it's great to have breakfast in the morning and have access to that.
Awesome. Great.
And that's all we have, but if you have
Yeah.
any questions,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We'll turn it now to recognitions and acknowledgements. Okay. That we will look to the adoption of minutes. These are the regular and executive session minutes from our September 14th, 2021 meeting. If there are no amendments or corrections, if somebody would like to move those.
So moved.
Second.
And with a motion and a second, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Bowes,
Abstain.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Farmer,
Yes.
Mrs. Grover,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Santos,
Abstain.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
I think after the student report, I have to pick up my energy level. They did a great job. But I wanted to take the opportunity to thank everyone for their efforts with social distancing, masking, and staying home when sick. All support our goal of being in school for in-person learning as much as possible, hopefully 5 full days, every day, every week. And I know it's safe to say that just about everyone was disappointed 2 weeks ago when we had to close LIS for 3 days and put them on remote instruction. But in reflection and working with our health department and the New Jersey Department of Health, I am confident that closing us for those short pause of 3 days stopped a major outbreak which would have had us shut down for a minimum of 14. In fact, in the last 10 days, we've had fewer positive COVID cases in our district. And with that, it means less contact tracing for our nurses, less quarantining for our staff and students, less students having to be on remote instruction. So for the first time in a really long time, our district, our schools, our classrooms, they're feeling like they're getting back to the path of normalcy. And as the students shared, in fact, today, we gave the PSATs to our high school juniors and sophomores with lots of other activities for other students. And last week, our district celebrated a district-wide week of respect. So in addition to our efforts to help support our students' social and emotional well-being, we had theme days, such as Respect Your Story, Respect Our Community, Celebrate Differences, Peace Day, and many more. Throughout the week, there were activities, there were lessons and messages to reinforce the themes of respect, belonging, pride, and kindness. And for myself, seeing our students and staff dressed in spirit gear or wearing crazy hats and wicked crazy socks, it surely added the feel that we are getting back on track to the routines and the enjoyable moments in our district. On another note, we have started the important process of our strategic plan, and our leadership team has met with the consultants on 2 different occasions for planning and mapping out the year. Our last planning meeting, we met to discuss how we can best engage our entire school community in this important process, involve all stakeholders, and I'm excited to get feedback from our community to help us grow and improve. This week, we started a process to offer weekly testing for our staff for COVID. We are hoping to expand that testing process and offer it to our staff and our students beginning in November. And as we plan and work through that process, I will be sharing hopefully really positive news that we will be able to offer that to our school community in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Secretary's report.
Just to follow up to our last meeting, we had a member of the public come to the mic and raise some concerns about transportation issues. We were able to solve that for her the next day by about 11 o'clock in the morning. And then she was provided with the contact information. If she has any other concerns, regardless of what they may be, here's how you can get your concerns satisfied. I believe that she's happy with the arrangements now, and I think it was a better situation all in all in the end for everyone involved. So virtual workshop is happening for the school board members. You're all registered. Ms. Santos, I will check up on you and make sure, since you're new, that you're registered. I don't know if Beth's got you there. The virtual workshop happens between the 26th and the 28th of this month, and you will find that you're able to get credits that you'll need for your mandatory trainings. They'll be there for continuing education credits, and you sign on. And again, of course, like so many other things, it's going to be Zoom-based or Google-based. And soon, I hope, within maybe next year, we'll be in person again, where they have a far more robust menu of agenda items. And the dialogue is much better than something that is virtual. Also, on the agenda for tonight, you'll see that there's awards for professional services contracts for door replacements across the district in various places, and then the paving contracts that we budgeted for last year in February are also on the agenda. So you'll find the paving contract for the architect's fees, and then we'll be out to bid. In addition, this board has approved us re-roofing Slackwood. That was part of the budget for this current school year. We will be out to bid. The notices are in the paper as of this Friday, and Slackwood will be re-roofed something similar to, with a product similar to the administration building. I believe it'll be quite a handsome result in the end. Some other things that are happening. In the past, the board has asked about, because residents have asked about, our federal funding. So you'll find on our website that you can go into the department's website, and then under business and budget, you'll find all of our federal funds for the stimulus funds there. Every single purchase that has been made is listed there for ESSER 1, otherwise known as CARES, ESSER 2, and the American Recovery Act is also there. However, there's no expenditures listed to date. It's on the agenda to approve the application tonight. But we will put those up there as well. The board received a grant in the amount of $212,000 from the state of New Jersey. This was a rather long process, and what we chose to use the grant for was site lighting behind the stadium field. The design for that is ready. We should be out to bid in about 2 weeks. We met for the final walkthrough with the engineer last week. What we'll be doing is illuminating the smaller stands next to the concession area. We will also illuminate behind the concession area, and the stands, well, essentially the stands on either side of the concession area. And then we're also going to take alternate bids on lighting up the wood line along the park. So my hope is that we can do the whole thing. And again, this is through a security grant. And you may be familiar with the term Alyssa's Law. So this is part of that grant. And of course, if there's anything that I can answer for you, please don't hesitate to send me an email or just call my phone. There's a large amount that we discussed in the Finance Committee, so I'll stop the report here because I know that Pepper will pick up and go over any number of things. That's what I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Board President's report. I have nothing new to report this evening, so we'll turn to our committee reports. Equity.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is that the PowerPoint
on?
presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Issues for the receiver of the message. And so those things are called microaggressions. And, ooh, that was fast. And so we started off with a review of how our beliefs are developed. And they'll see a video by Bruce Lipton that talks about your beliefs being developed from birth to 7 years of age, as your foundational beliefs, as your subconscious. We talked about that last meeting. And the remainder of your life is your conscious beliefs. It's what you choose to believe, what you talk about you believe. But we receive our beliefs from the messages that we get, bless you, as we live, from media, from family members, from schoolmates, from teachers, from mentors. And so we get to decide what those messages are and how we're going to act upon them. However, there are those subconscious beliefs that we have that we act upon when we're not really thinking, when we're relaxed, when we're just going about our day. And so we review that. And so that's also then becomes part of our implicit bias. How we look at kids when they show up, what we say to them, what we expect from them. And so they'll watch a video clip on implicit bias and they'll talk about what those things are as part of a review. And then we talk about change. Because change for everyone, even though change is the only constant, it's scary. And so we talk about and have them discuss with each other a time when they've changed their mind about something. Because we want them to feel comfortable with the idea that we can change. We can become better, especially for children. So we can let go of some of the ideas and beliefs that we had. We can reflect upon some of the things that were given to us and get rid of those things if it's going to make things better for children, because we make changes for ourselves if it's going to make things better for us. So we do that for children. They have an activity where they talk about change. And then they get into the microaggressions. And again, we don't just do these things. Microaggressions are the acts or comments that seem benign but actually hurt the person that they're said to or done to. Microaggressions can be telling a black girl, "You're pretty for a black girl. Why can't she just be pretty?" Telling a big person, "Wow, you look good in that suit," for a big person. Why can't I just look good in the suit? Telling someone of a non-white culture, "You're articulate." Wow. Why can't that just be expected? So it's those comments that do damage to our colleagues, but also to the children. And so they'll see a video where the presenter talks about microaggressions from the standpoint of society being about cool kids. So for every identity, there's a cool kid. When we talk about beauty, it's the guy with muscles or the woman that's slim. Those are the cool kids. So if you don't have muscles or you're not slim, you're not one of the cool kids. And so then when we make comments and we make those comments and attach them to the stereotype that's different from what we want to be, then those are microaggressions. And so we have to think about what we're saying and who the cool kids are for each identity. And so we go over that with the teachers so that they understand and they can start to think about what they're doing. But then we go into microaffirmations. So what can we do to make our kids feel better about themselves? What can we say to make sure we have a better work environment? And so it says kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. When we tell a child over and over again how smart they are, when we tell a child over and over again how valuable they are, we start to counter those microaggressions that others may do, that they may see outside, that may happen in their family, and we can do a positive for our children where they feel valued in society, not just in our school. So the teachers will talk about those things and discuss with each other what they can do. And then we talk about micro behaviors. When you're looking at someone, and many of you are doing it now, when I speak, you're nodding your head at me. Well, that makes me want to talk more, so keep it up, right? It makes you feel good. Well, when you do that to a 6-year-old, it does the same thing. When you listen to them intently and look them in the eyes and say, "Yes, I love to hear that story," that makes them feel valued. When you speak to a parent and start off with, "Let me tell you, your child is awesome, has these great skills," that makes the parent say, "Okay, you value my child," and they're more willing to listen. So we talk about what those behaviors can be for teachers to make everyone feel better in their classrooms. And then hopefully we can continue on to do different things like how can we then do our picture books in class a better way? How can we have certain conversations a better way? But before we can do all of that, we have to start to change minds and beliefs and actions so that, again, our overarching theme is our children can feel valued and welcomed in schools. Thank you.
Clifton? Over here, sorry, Clifton, just a quick question. So how do you present this to the teachers? You don't see them all at once, do you go to each of the
So
different,
the staff- no,
different school
so-
buildings, a staff meeting?
It's going to be done at the staff meetings.
Yep.
I won't be doing all the presentations. The equity team will be doing them. They
Okay.
received the PowerPoint from me, and in the PowerPoint, they go through and they massage the PowerPoint to fit their school. They know their colleagues. So as long as the message is correct and is the same, we know how to say things to our colleagues to get them on board. Because what we can't do is drag someone out of their beliefs. When someone comes and attacks us, what do? We dig in and we stop listening. But if we make it about making things better for children, educators start to listen and educators start to act. So I give them the template of what's going to be said, what each slide is about, an idea of what I'm thinking about for an activity, but they're educators also. So if they have a better activity, change it. If you think the layout of the slide needs to change the layout of the slide. If you think the colors should be different, change the colors, as long as the content is still the same. So they'll be doing that throughout the district. The high school actually has made a change. They're going to do something different on the 25th, and then they'll use another staff meeting to do this workshop. But that's because, again, you have to know what's going on in your building, and it should be organic. Even though the whole district does the same thing, what one school needs as far as how it's presented can be totally different than what another school needs. And so I'm meeting with all of the equity warriors to go over what they're doing with their teams and answer their questions. But each one could be a little bit different, but it'll follow that same format.
Great, thanks.
That ownership is so important. That's how they connect. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anything more from Equity Committee?
No.
We're good? Perfect. Thank you. Community Relations.
Yes, Community Relations actually met twice since the last board meeting, September 23rd, and then again on October 7th. We met for roughly an hour each time. September 23rd, the primary agenda of our meeting was to review the updates to the website under the school board tab. And again, I encourage all to look there to find out a little bit more about what the school board does and doesn't do in Lawrence Township, and actually in any district throughout New Jersey, as well as what our goals and action plans are for this particular calendar year. On October 7th, we met with two members of the staff of Through, a consultant group that will be assisting us greatly through the strategic planning process. These two staff members, Sima Reingold and David Irwin, shared their process that they're using with us over the course of the next 8 months, giving us each month their goals and the focus. We will continue to invite them monthly to our community relations meeting so that Sima and Dave will give us about a 30-minute update at each of our regular meetings. So we will extend our meetings from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. As such, in order for other board members to have some opportunity to participate with these two members of the consultant group, I would like to invite all other board members to join us. However, given there are 4 board members attending each subcommittee, just let me know your interest and what date. How about if I let you know what the dates are? The next two dates, November 3rd and December 2nd. But we will then, as we reorg in January, we'll establish new monthly meeting dates. So anybody who would like to come on November 3rd or December 2nd, all of us on the Community Relations Committee are willing to take a step back and invite anyone else to attend. So November 3rd and December 2nd. The Community Relations Committee will report out monthly on the strategic planning process. Sima and David have some great ideas on how we communicate as a full board with the community, and we would do so during some of the work sessions that are held regularly at our monthly board meetings. So between now and June, we can expect that some strategic planning work will happen during our work sessions here at a monthly board meeting. That's what I have for community relations.
Great, thank you. Negotiations, no report this evening. Guidance and mental health.
Yes, Guidance and Mental Health met on October 12th. It was Ross Kasem, Linda Mithog, Michelle King, Patricia Farmer, and myself. We discussed a lot of the different initiatives that are going on right now in terms of social and emotional learning. And I thought I would share two things that are really going on that I think are impactful to the district. And the first is Playworks, which is a company with the mission of improving the health and well-being of children through increasing opportunities for safe and meaningful play. And with an $80,000 grant, Playworks will be is already starting a partnership with our 5 elementary schools, Ben Franklin, LES, Eldridge Park, Slackwood, and LIS, where there will be a coach present during certain school days throughout the year in order to train staff and students on best practices during recess and teach social and emotional lessons through play-based learning. This year, the staff will be trained in recess, group management, indoor recess, and equipment kits. In addition, our teachers will be receiving Keep Playing every Monday, which is a game of the week that focus on social and emotional learnings to help promote play in the classrooms. And so this will be happening throughout the entire year in all of our elementary schools. The other thing I'd like to tell everybody about is the DREAMS project, which is something that the New Jersey Department of Education, in collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Children and Families, will provide support to project school districts through the developing resiliency and engaging approaches to maximize success, which is DREAMS, during the 21-22 school year. Here in our district, Mindy Malofsky, the Lawrence Middle School principal, and Melanie Philmeyer, the supervisor of guidance and career services, will be trained in the Nurtured Heart approach and certified. And they will receive training in evidence-based 6 core strategies that we can use to build sustainable, trauma-informed, and healing-centered practices within our school community. So I wanted to say congratulations to Mindy and Melanie and to our district for having this program that we will reap the rewards of their training. And then just to highlight some things that are going on in the high school in terms of opportunities for kids and college, just to make people aware that we've had a lot of college visits. In September, 37 different schools visited the high school. In October, 30 schools, and we're still working on November. They come in, and students have the opportunity to make an appointment through the guidance office and meet with representatives from a lot of different places. If parents are interested in finding out, if they don't know what's going on, they can access through Naviance. And if people do not know how to get into the Naviance system, they need to contact their student's guidance counselor. Parents then get a unique password, and they can go in and see everything that's going on in regards to the college recruiting process. And that's about it for guidance and mental health right now.
Great, thank
Thank you.
Liaison reports. School boards?
Okay, I have to say, I'm excited about the play and the recess. That's right up my alley. You always say everything you needed to learn right there on the sport fields. Okay, bear with me. I think I'll just go through, if you don't mind, the New Jersey School Boards, LTEF, and Direct Link, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, get it out of the way. Okay, we, Legislative Committee, met September 18th from 9 to 11:30. There were 30 districts represented. Guest speaker was Deb Cornavaca, and she's a Deputy Chief of Staff for Outreach Programs in Governor Murphy's office. Topics discussed: Mercer County's approval for Hurricane Ida damages as they pertain to schools, school district transportation challenges, school bus driver shortages, Murphy's administration is committed to finding short and long-term solutions among other potential solutions. They're working to reduce testing time, wait times at New Jersey motor vehicles, and exploring deployment of National Guard. Some districts are actually having National Guard drive their vans to pick up and drop off students. Assistance is offered to any district experiencing difficulty in getting drivers through the CDL licensing process. The state utilization of some of the funding it received through American Rescue Plan, $600 million is being set aside to pay for the new law, providing an additional year of special education for certain students who were originally aged out and no longer would be eligible. Another $180 million was allocated in state budget towards the HVAC and air conditioning, water and infrastructure improvements, and a portion set aside for schools. Again, if you need the help, they are there for you. The districts need to use the funding primarily for one-time and not reoccurring expenses. This will help them, as she said, to avoid a fiscal cliff once the money runs out. So any new programs, initiatives, staffs would no longer be funded if you use them inappropriately. Process of moving forward for spending the remaining state set aside of the ARPA funds, approximately $5 billion, remains, and much more will depend on the outcome of the infrastructure bill being debated in Congress. The status of COVID-19 in New Jersey, including state vaccination efforts and school staffing for testing programs, the offer for the administration assistance in hosting events to increase vaccinations of eligible students. Expectations that districts will comply with the masking mandate, and administration hopes it will be lifted as the rate of infection decreases from our lips to up above, and vaccination rates will increase, particularly once the younger students become eligible. Moving to, let's see. I'm just trying to do the Cliff Note version instead of having you guys listen to everything. Reflecting on what and how we reacted. What they want to do is look back on how we did react to COVID and the pivoting and learn from what we did from the pandemic. So if, heaven forbid, this happens again in the future or something like it, we can do better. We can look at how the budget was impacted and planning for the future responses. Governmental relations, new educational related enactments, special education, aging out, which I spoke about earlier, S3434A5366 requires boards of education to provide special education and related services to certain students exceeding the age of eligibility for special education related services. And again, that $600 million is there to help lift it up so that it doesn't fall on the taxpayers. So thank goodness. Civics instruction, S854A3394, Laura Wooten's law requires civics instructions in middle school, authorizes New Jersey Center for Civics Education to provide curricula, professional development, and technical assistance for middle and high school civics. Something we are having problems with, erasing substitute teacher requirements, and that is S2832A5295, allows a student enrolled in an institution of higher education who has completed 30 semester hour credits to serve as a substitute teacher, extends time period substitute teachers may serve during a public health emergency. And the last bill was anti-hazing policies that requires institution of higher education and public, non-public high schools, middle schools to adopt anti-hazing policies, expand activities encompassing criminal hazing, and upgrades penalties for engaging in these activities. Candidate briefing was yesterday, so anyone that was going to run for school boards, Central Jersey was covered so that hopefully you were there. You could see what you're signing up for if you get elected. Mercer County meeting was held September 20th at 6:30. Pepper and Patricia attended. I thank you ladies very much for attending, along with members from Hamilton, West Windsor, Trenton, and South Brunswick. The topic was how to manage board meetings during Where did my next page go?
Dot,
Found,
dot, dot.
where's my next page? Page 3. Sorry, folks. That's one. This is what happens when I tried to be organized and put everything out. Okay, we'll just go right on. Basically, it was how to deal with issues during board meetings, and the main suggestion was to be sure your policies are public, to know what you're going to discuss and be upfront. The one policy that I think we as a board might want to look at, which the attorney suggested, was, do we want to look at perhaps having a closing time for our board meetings? They suggested 10 o'clock at night, so that people can get home and get back to their families. And I'm moving along here, folks, I really am. I'm missing my page 3. Okay, I'll just skip on here. Project graduation was one, but I wanted to get to LTEF. LTEF has moved their trivia night. And darn, I wish I had that paper in front of me. I don't know where I put it. So please be sure to take a look at the LTEF site, because they provide so many fantastic programs for our students. And I really think that if you want to help our students, that's the best way to give the innovative, creative ideas that our staff members have written grants for. All right, since I can't find my page 4, I'm going to go back to project graduation. Both Kevin and I attended project graduation October 4th, 7 o'clock. Fundraising ideas were discussed. And the goal of project graduation is to host a free, safe, adult-supervised, substance-free graduation party for seniors, and promoting the message on preventing alcohol and drugs-related problems in our community. So if you take a look at their website, they have several openings for either coordinators or chair people, and the website is one that's open, secretary for grant coordinating, senior breakfast coordinator, fundraising for the lottery fundraiser that's coming up, and a co-chair is needed for entertainment and food for project graduation's final event. So please take a look at that. And with that, I will sit back.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Perfect, thank you. Town council. Have any reports here? Seeing none. Growth and redevelopment.
Hello. The Lawrence Township Growth and Redevelopment Committee met last night. We had 2 lively topics. One was how to approach the state of New Jersey to obtain more data on the number of businesses opening in Lawrence Township. Apparently, we have no way right now of collecting data on how many businesses are in Lawrence Township and when they open, and then what happens subsequently, whether they go out of business like that. When businesses do apply for licenses, we have that information, but sometimes that does not occur. And the second topic that we discussed, and how, particularly how West Windsor Plainsboro handled their growth period for the last 20 years, because it's a town with that had a lot of land, and they came up with certain there was some litigation concerning that, and we wanted to look at how West Windsor Plainsboro handled that, and whether we could adopt something in our town where we just about built out. So that's not really a major concern of large developments coming in, but I think the RPM development near Lawrence Shopping Center, that's probably the biggest development that we've had in a number of years. And also, I would like everybody to know that Starbucks is now open at the Lawrence Shopping Center. So you can grab your cup of coffee and come to Lawrence High School in a easier or quicker pace than you could at the other Starbucks. So that's the extent of our report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Partnership.
Yes, good evening. The Every Child Value Board met on September 14th. It was the meeting of the Board of Directors as well as myself. The discussion was around bridging the divide as a result of the pandemic. Many of the children require additional support in reading especially, and also in their emotional assistance. So they are looking to hire 2 additional people to help with the program, reading specialists and a social worker. In addition to the funding, they discussed the remediation and enrichment programs that they're currently working on. And also the partnership meeting between Lawrence Township School District and ECV met on October 7th. Present at that meeting was Andrew Zuckerman, Mr. Cliff Thompson, Nicole Cody, Chelsea Izzo, and myself. At that meeting, it was discussed the signing of the contract and the agreement for the school year. Additional funding requests, again, for a reading specialist and a social worker. Assessments of final reports, grant updates, and also the 21-22 goals. One of the things that came out of that meeting that struck me and was very sensitive was the level of absenteeism that the ECV, the Every Child Value students, suffered as a result of the pandemic. Their numbers were over double the amount of participation. Many students did not log on during the time when school was closed, so there's a big gap and learning deficit that they're seeing. So they're in conversations about that. And that's it.
Great, thank you.
Kevin, can I just jump in? I didn't want to slight LTEF, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you. Fall grant applications, I found my paper. Fall grant applications were due on Monday. LTF is delighted to report that there were 42 fantastic submissions, so congratulations to all those who wrote grants. Grant applicants will hear on or before October 29th to join us here for our next board meeting on November 10th. So please come and enjoy that, because it's always a fun night. Found the trivia night. November 12th, please sign up today to play at ltefnj.org. There are also a few sponsorship levels available. These events help LTEF to fund all the amazing educator grants that we're going to hear about next board meeting and initiatives throughout the year. Consider supporting LTEF and attending or sponsoring. And last direct link. We met September 28th at 9 a.m. Ross spoke about the COVID status protocols, strategic planning goals, and encouraged the attendees to get involved with our strategic planning. Linda Mithog reported out on CPAC meetings in October 19th and one coming up in early November. All schools reported out on fundraisers and fun things that were going on. So if you have a child in elementary school, or if you just want to be nosy like me and find out what's going on, go to their websites and join in the fun with them. Thank you, Kevin.
Awesome, thank you. VOTEC.
Yes, VOTEC met on September 29th, and it consisted of Andrew Zuckerman, Ross Kasem, Patricia Hendricks-Farmer, Ashaya Draper, and the new superintendent, James Fazan. And information was given out to Andrew Zuckerman and also to the Eggers Crossing Civic League. And in the information, you can go on the websites, at least for Eggers Crossing Civic League, and it will tell you that they will be having in-person information sessions. One will be October 28th at 6 p.m. at SciPec. Another one will be on November 9th at 6 p.m. at Assapink. And the last one will be on December 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. And as you know, we have two locations for vocational: SciPec, which is on Bull Run Road, and the other one is on Assapink, which is across the street from Mercer County Community College, which is on 1085 Old Trenton Road. They will also be having virtual information sessions. One will be November 20th, 6 p.m., and the other one will be on January the 4th at 6 p.m. So if you're interested, you can go on to the Eggers Crossing Civic League website, and you will see all the information. It will tell you about full-time academy, shared time programs in Spanish, and other multimedia podcasts and multimedia in Spanish. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Special education?
As I think Joanne did mention, CPAC is up and running again. There was a little bit of a lag during COVID. Their new name is now CPAG, which just conforms with the other parent advisory groups throughout New Jersey. With new parent leadership on board for CPAG, they are holding their first event, an informational session for parents of kids with special needs. It is October 19th, 7 p.m., and it will be presented virtually. So please check the LTPS website for that information and the link.
If you don't have a child, is there a way you can still log on? Because some of the times I can't get into things because I don't have a student ID number to log in.
You know what? I'll have to check on that for you, Joanne, because this being the first CPAG virtual event, I'm not
Thank you. I
not
can
sure what
do
the
it.
limits are.
Thank you, though.
So I'll check
Appreciate
with
that.
Linda.
Great, thank you. Review of communications. And so we'll turn to our first opportunity for public input. We'll just ask that you come up to the microphone, give us your name and address, and we kindly ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. What was that? I'm sorry.
I'm the secretary.
Oh,
Tom.
Tom.
Hi.
Eldridge.
Thank you. Is this your name, sir? So that I can report that I received it from you?
Excuse me, sir. Oh,
Is this your card?
That would be my card.
Okay, and he delivered it on behalf of you?
Thank you, yes. Good evening, Kevin Van Heis and Ross Kassan. Thank you for allowing me a moment to speak today. My name is Leslie Summerhill Jr. I am president of the Trenton branch NAACP, and I'm here to just give you a brief presentation in regards to the Trenton branch NAACP. Good evening. Thank you for providing me a few moments to introduce to you the Trenton branch NAACP. This historic branch lauds a membership of some 500 freedom fighters throughout Mercer County and millions nationally. In our cities, schools, companies, and courtrooms, we are the legacy of W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and other civil rights giants, many of whom were white Americans who were appalled at the common anti-Black violence across America. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People may be a bit intimidating to entities unfamiliar to our mission, goals, and objectives. My goal today is to facilitate a clearer understanding of our purpose and move you to a space where the NAACP is embraced as a community partner in education, a space that values the enduring adage that it does indeed take a village to raise a child. Our branch's vision is to empower Mercer County through advocacy, education, and community development. We strive to ensure a society in which all individuals have equal access to civil rights and is absent of racial hatred and racial discrimination. We understand that our nation's educational terrain has been completely re-engineered. Our school districts are in dire need of community partners such as the NAACP, who can help keep students engaged, who can help keep teachers motivated, and who can help keep parents informed. With the guidance and commitment of the district, the Trenton branch seeks to identify students, families, and teacher advisors who will commit to chartering an NAACP youth branch for your high school and grade school student populations. This type of supplemental educational support will assist in the fulfillment